All right, ladies and gentlemen, Witch Queen is just a few days away, and between me scrambling to complete like 6 seals, checking Twitter every 2 seconds to see who Savathun is roasting next, and telling my friends and family I love them because starting February 22nd, I will be unreachable, I have finally begun to move gear over to my day 1 character, which is essentially the last step in my prep. So as soon as the expansion drops, I can dive headfirst into that legendary campaign. Now, if you're anything like me, then for the last, I don't even know how long, your exotic weapon slot has looked something like this. Or like this, essentially always being given to the same 1 to 2 weapons. But with Witch Queen, all that could be changing. Some big changes are coming to exotics, so I decided to sit down and throw together a list of exotic weapons that I'm going to have on my day 1 character, and I think you should as well. Feel free to subscribe if you're new and you enjoy the videos, but let's get into it. So the first thing you should know right off the bat is the changes coming to exotic weapons. If you don't already know, all exotic primaries are receiving a 40% damage buff to minor enemies. There are also some other changes that certain exotics are getting or entire weapon types are getting, but the 40% damage buff is a blanket across all primary exotics. So getting right into number 5, we have Trinity Ghoul. Now Trinity Ghoul is already very good, especially for ad clear / group clear and, you know, some throwaway farm and cheating. But with the 40% damage buff, it's going to be even better. This is because Trinity Ghoul is currently only really good for low end content and starts to suffer when facing enemies that are of higher level. Your arrows and the chain lightning begin to not always just wipe out the entire room instantly. But with that buff, Trinity might actually be viable in high in-game content. Also, not to mention that bows are going to be receiving anti-barrier at the start of Witch Queen, furthering the usability of Trinity Ghoul in, like I just said, in-game content. Next up at number 4 is kind of a 2-for-1. I didn't want to put one and then not put the other because they're kind of the same, but they're kind of like a little bit different. That being Huckleberry and Risk Runner. Both are already very good for ad clear and group clear. Both are very similar in their gameplay loop, which is just keep shooting. Huckleberry has Ride the Bull, which increases your rate of fire and recoil while you're holding down the trigger, and on top of that, kills will reload a portion of the magazine, and if you have the catalyst, then it'll reload the entire magazine. Then on the other hand, Risk Runner has Arc Conductor and Superconductor, which essentially gives you an overshield, your bullets become chain lightning, and you have unlimited ammo as long as you keep getting kills, all of which activates whenever you take arc damage. So you probably understand what I'm getting at here. Huckleberry for low end content that doesn't have any enemies throwing out arc damage, and Risk Runner for low end content that does have arc damage. The 40% buff stacked on top of these already great weapons is going to make them monsters. Also, SMGs will be receiving Overload next season, which, while I don't think will make them good for in-game content, like high-level in-game content, because of an even better SMG that we're about to talk about, there's just no point to use these. It's just going to further aid them in being better for content that does have champions, because champions aren't only in like high-level content. Like if you go just do like a normal match made Nightfall, there's going to be champions in there. Now at number 3, we have the SMG that I just referenced, Terabyte. If Huckleberry and Risk Runner are our low tier ad clear SMGs, Terabyte is our high tier in-game ad clear SMG. If you've ever used Terabyte, then you know it's very good and very powerful when you get its exotic perk, Ravenous Beast, up and going. But the downfall being that when you switch to another weapon, you lose your Ravenous Beast. Even if you have it charged up but haven't activated it, it just vanishes. Well, with Witch Queen, when you stow Terabyte, it will retain half its Ravenous Beast charge. It normally takes about 2 clips of damage to fully charge Ravenous Beast, so with this change, pulling it back out with half charge should only take you about a magazine or less to get Ravenous Beast back up. So with the change to its exotic perk, you know, just more uptime, the blanket 40% damage buff, and the addition of Overload SMG, well, and I never thought I'd actually say this, we might actually see a Terabyte meta. And I can't believe I'm saying that. Making its way in at number 2 is Agar's Scepter. Agar's Scepter is already a really great weapon for ad clear, group clear, and most importantly, the reason that I like it so much is ad control. Normally, I wouldn't dedicate my special ammo weapon to something that my primary ammo weapon could do, that being group clear, ad clear, but because of its ad control capability, well, this is an exception. Thanks to its exotic perk, Agar's Call, final blows generate a slowing burst around a defeated target. This makes the weapon very good for all levels of content, low end and high end. Enemies level plays no part in them being slowed or frozen. They all freeze, they all slow the same, giving you the ability to stop potentially waves of enemies in their tracks even in, like I just mentioned, in-game content. This gives you and your team time to heal up, reposition, reload, etc. Whatever you want to do, essentially calling a timeout for just a few seconds, which for any level of content can be very, very helpful. Also, let's not forget its catalyst, which enables it to dish out single target damage against higher tier enemies such as majors and ultras. All around, I believe Agar's is good for just about any situation, as it covers so many things: ad clear, group clear, single target damage, ad control, synergy with stasis builds. Yeah, this thing will definitely be on my day one character. If you haven't yet got it, I recommend picking it up, as the quest to obtain it is going away with the launch of Witch Queen. And finally, making its way in at number 1, we have, drumroll please, GFuel, which code myfi will currently get you 30% off. Listen, if Witch Queen is as big as everyone is hyping it up to be, and as Bungie is saying it's going to be, you're gonna need the energy to keep you going, all right? And that's where GFuel can come in, because it is the only clinically, and I'm saying this with quotations because the fact that some supplement companies say clinically proven, especially when it's literally just caffeine, is beyond me. But hey, GFuel doesn't try to be anything that it's not. It's literally just flavorful caffeine. If you want some, pick some up down below, just being as transparent as possible. But yeah, code myfi, 30% off, ends in a few days. Pick some up. Okay, so the actual number 1 is Gjallarhorn. All right, yeah, I know, all right, but listen, all right, I can't sit here and make a top 5 or any top exotics list for Witch Queen without telling you to get Ghorn. Ghorn is just so good, and unlike linears that are being boosted this season thanks to Particle, Ghorn is just good by itself. All right, no mods needed. Let's also not forget that all it takes is 1 Ghorn per team. So you or your teammates can run one of these other really good exotics on this list and just have legendary rockets on. Then when it comes time to damage, as long as one person has Ghorn, then everyone is gonna have Wolfpack rounds and be dishing out massive damage. You might already have Ghorn, but with the hype around all these primary exotics and all the changes and everything coming, and the new weapons and exotics coming, don't forget that when it comes to boss damage currently, Ghorn is pretty much king, and the usability is oh my god, it's literally just point and shoot. It's point and shoot. It might be easier than Xeno, and I'm not even joking. Now hold up, before we end off, I do have some honorable mentions. I know if I don't mention these, some people are gonna get mad. And listen, all right, I don't want to make a 20-minute video talking about every exotic, so I'm just gonna rapid fire a bunch more exotics that I think are gonna be good going into Witch Queen. First up, pulse rifles are getting a 10% buff on top of the 40% exotic buff. So Outbreak Perfected, Bad Juju, and No Time to Explain should all be pretty damn good in Witch Queen. Then we have scout rifles, which, starting with Witch Queen, are going to get anti-barrier. Thank God I love anti-barrier on scout rifles, because I mean, it's just, you know, high-end content. You want to keep as much distance away, and you know, having anti-barrier scouts is great. So Polaris Lance and Graviton Lance might come out of the woodworks, and that's crazy. All right, I'm really looking forward to both these weapons, as they have mechanics that are really good for ad clear, and the fact that they can be used at a distance and they're gonna have anti-barrier, it's gonna be great. And finally, Sunshot. It's getting that 40% buff, and so is its explosions. All right, it was already really good, and this is gonna make it even better. Also, it's rumored, and no, this is not confirmed yet, or at least as far as I know, it's not confirmed, hand cannons are going to be our unstop weapons next season. So Sunshot might actually be your go-to. It can do ad clear, and you're gonna be able to, like, you know, stagger unstoppable champions. I honestly think it's going to be really good. And that is my top 5 must-have exotics to have at the ready going into Witch Queen. In all honesty, even though Terrible wasn't number 1, that's what I'm most looking forward to, right behind the new Thorn Recluse exotic that got its like own little trailer today at the time of me recording this video. I mean, especially if that thing works with necrotic grips, that thing is gonna be brazy, boys. It's gonna be brazy. Let me know what exotic weapon is going to be in your hands when Witch Queen drops. I'm curious what you all are gonna be rocking. All right, with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. Drop a like if you enjoyed, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.